pizza dough out of this book, America's Test Kitchen, the complete baking book for young chefs. So I'm going to be on page 82, and this is just a 2-hat recipe, so it's super simple. Start off, we're going to want to get the ingredients, and for these, you're going to want 3/4 of a cup of iced water. Iced water just means it's really cold. And to get it that way, they usually use ice. So to do that, you're going to just measure out your water, going to put some ice cubes in there. Don't use shredded ice or something like that because then it will melt and then you'll have more water than you actually need. So just use ice cubes and then put it in the fridge and leave it in there until you need it. And then once you need it, you can just pour this into a strainer over a bowl and then dump out those ice cubes and then use the water. So along with this, you're going to want 1 2/3 cup of bread flour, a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, a teaspoon of instant or rapid rise yeast, a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. You're also going to want some vegetable oil spray, or in my case, olive oil spray. So, to get started, you're going to want to mix your olive oil and your water. And you're just going to whisk this together. And set it off. Okay, so after you mix your water and oil together, you're going to mix together your dry ingredients. The recipe actually calls to use a food processor. Unfortunately, I don't have a food processor, and the recipe just calls for the whole dough to be mixed together in there. And you know, in most of my videos that needs a food processor, I use a blender, but I don't think that's gonna work for pizza dough or any dough really. To mix dry ingredients together maybe, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to stick with a stand mixer. And so yeah, so we're going to mix together our flour, yeast, salt, and sugar all together in here, and I'm just going to use the whisk. So after you've mixed your dry ingredients together, you're just going to take your water and oil mixture, and it's just been sitting here for a little while, and I'm just going to give this a quick stir. There we go. All right. And I'm going to switch this over to the paddle setting. I like to mix the wet and dry ingredients a little bit with using the paddle for doughs first, and then switching over to the hook setting. It just makes sure that it comes together a little bit better using the paddle, and then about halfway through I take it off and use the hook. So we're going to go with that, and we're just going to put this down and start this on very low speed, just like that. And we're going to slowly mix in our wet ingredients. And this also calls for it to do this using the food processor, but again, I don't have one, so I'm just using this, and so I'm just slowly mixing this in, just like that, and it starts to slowly chunk up a little bit. And I'm just going to put the rest of that in, and let that mix a little bit. Go together using the paddle function for a very slow time. It should look something like this, and then we're going to switch over to I mix this dough together using the paddle function for about 20 seconds. So not very long, just it's not even combined yet, not even like well combined. And so then we're going to switch over to the hook setting, and we're going to mix this on about medium-high speed for about 30 seconds until it's after you've mixed your dough together using the hook setting, your dough should look something like this, and you're just going to let this sit for 10 minutes, and the recipe doesn't say anything about covering it, so I'm just going to leave this for 10 minutes and cover it. At this point, you're going to, after it's risen, you're going to want to add your salt, just sprinkle it on and mix it. Unfortunately, I did that too early and mixed it in, so don't do that. But it's going to be okay. So you're going to let this rise for 10 minutes, and after that, it's just like just a little ball. It hasn't really risen much. And you're going to just spray inside of your bowl with your oil. And then you're going to spray down your counter and your hands. I'm not going to spray down the counter just because I'm just going to spray my hands really quick. And then I'm just going to knead this dough. can get really slick and stuff. And you're just gonna do this really quickly. You don't need to do much. Alright, and then you're gonna shape it into a round ball. And just by doing this, just kind of folding it down, and any little like bumps like this, you can just pull down and tuck under. It should look something like that. And you're just gonna place this inside of your bowl, and you're gonna let this rise after covering it with plastic wrap or a towel, and you're gonna let this rise for an hour to an hour and a half. This is the dough. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click the link below. If you want to buy this book, click the other link below. And don't forget to hit that like button. Bye guys!